All right, welcome everybody to the Flopbuster Movie Show live. It's been
It's been a
not only a
minute.
minute, it's been a few months, I guess. It's been a while. Let me pull up the comments. This is just going to be a fun stream, hangout. I want to thank my co-host Gabriel Tornero for being back here. We're back. Cody, I see you, man. I'm doing this on my phone. Okay, you just show it like that. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Cody. Yeah, we haven't seen you in a while. It's been a minute, man. Speaking of Connor, we just mentioned Connor. How's it going, man? How's it going? I'm happy to be back, Gabe. I'm excited to get started. Talk about movies with you
Yeah,
again. Me and you have obviously taken time off. It's been a minute. Uh, Obvious reasons we want, and we were doing some other things. We had some personal matters in our life,
right.
emergencies, and so forth. So, yeah, I want to get back into talking movies. I want to get more guests on here. I just want to make this as fun as it can be. Doing the things that we love, man.
We do, and hopefully maybe also change the format of the show that we talked about, just
Yeah.
because we want to have some fun. But yeah, I'm excited to be back, and hopefully we go back to a little weekly schedule here.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to a weekly schedule. This is more like an update. We're gonna talk about Scream 6. We're gonna talk about Creed 3, uh, Oscars, all those things. But this is also a way for us to tell you guys we're bringing back the show. The headliner will also come back at some point. We weren't able to finish it again because of personal matters,
No,
but
no,
we will get back to that series as well, and that will be out on Sundays again. I am in the middle of moving, so the background will be better and different and pretty interesting. And then, yeah,
right.
I know we're going to bring on guests. We're going to change the format. There will be news, and we will talk about those things, but it won't be as structured. I want to have more fun with it, and that's the key word we keep mentioning is just more laid back. I think is where we want to take it.
Absolutely. We don't want to read off a script anymore. We just want to come fly off the wheels, whatever comes off the top of our heads, type of
Exactly.
situation, and nothing that structured. Like we're not trying to be. I forget the name of the guy. Movie news show. I don't know.
Right.
Whatever.
No,
We're
we
just trying to have
we
fun
want to talk about anything and everything. Keep incorporating
all
the
at
chat.
once.
We do with the chat. Exactly. Yeah. Um. All right, Gabe. We've seen a lot of movies though. We've still been watching a ton. Like even though we haven't been doing it, you've watched a lot of new releases.
I have watched a ton of new releases. If I go into my letterbox here, which you could find me at Chi Town G there. But yes, I've seen so far as new releases are concerned, I've seen 19 new releases.
Okay. Yeah, that's that. I don't think I've seen 19. I've watched 92 movies so far this year, but they're all like super old. Mostly really old movies.
Bro, let me tell you something real quick though, right? Is I was so far ahead of you, right? And then at the beginning of the year, because work is slow, so I could watch like 4 or 5 movies a day when work is slow. Um, and then I had a personal matter happen at like the beginning of March. Like we were supposed to bring back the show for Knock at the Cabin. So
Right.
like
It was a while ago. We were
that was
supposed
a
to come
while
back.
ago, right?
Yeah.
So something personal happened, and so we weren't able to do that. We weren't able to finish the headliner, and then I stopped watching movies for like a 2 week stretch of time. And then when I get right back into watching it, I see your letterbox, which is at Tony Crespo or T
Yeah.
Crespo, and then I'm like, this fucker got up to like 40 movies on me, and since that date, like I've been like actively not gonna lie, I'm like like a little small competition in my head. I didn't even tell you about it. I've been like, I gotta catch up to this fucker. I gotta catch up to him. Finally today, I'm one movie behind you. I'm at 91
You're one
today.
movie behind me. I just
Yes.
started a new job. So Gabe knows about this. I started a new job. Well, I'm back with what an old job I worked at, just a new location. And I've been watching movies nonstop. I have obviously all the streamers, HBO, Criterion, but I've been watching a lot of things around or under 90 minutes, mainly comedies. But since I've been starting the new job, I haven't really. This week, I've been kind of slacking on watching movies. Besides, obviously, seeing Scream 6, which I had to do. I had to make time for that.
Which is great
Uh,
news for me. So because now I finally caught up to you, and hopefully I can overpass you.
you're probably gonna overpass me. I have some movies to watch. I went to the library for the first time in probably years. And you
Nerd.
can rent many. Yeah, going to the library is cool. You guys are sleeping on it. Stop paying money to rent Blu-rays. All right, stop paying money to stream renting, or it just I don't know whatever it is. But you could go rent like 50 Blu-rays at the library, and they don't care. And they're all new releases. There's Criterions, new ones, anything.
At some libraries, you could also rent Hustler.
Yes, you got rent Hustler magazines. But yeah, and I've been watching a lot of old stuff. But I did notice you're watching a lot of movies. I feel like everybody has been. It's that early part of the year where a lot of people are still off and now starting to get back to work and whatnot. So who knows? I'll probably make it 100 this week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
We'll see.
Let's talk about some new movies, man. Let's talk about some new releases because there's been a lot that's been happening in the world of movies and movie news that I wish we had a chance to cover and talk about. But we obviously took some time off and we weren't able to. Right. But there's been a shift, and we've talked about this shift for maybe the better part of like a year or so now, that a shift was going to happen. COVID really set everything back, but a change is going to be made. And that's finally happened. We've seen so far this year, in the early half of it, a lot of the most successful movies are all made for like under $40 million. And some of them are franchise movies, but most of them are horror movies, a sports film, and a comedy. And the big Marvel movie is the one that is losing money right now. It's not doing so well. I don't know, man. I want to talk about that first because me and you have talked about this. We want variety, and we love superhero movies, but we knew a fatigue was going to happen at some point if they kept doing the same thing. And I'm not going to rip on Ant-Man. Like I didn't like it at all. I don't think Gabe did either, but I know some people did. But I like where we're going. I like that we're getting movies like Cocaine Bear. I like that we're getting stuff like Megan. I'm not going to count M. Night because he's been doing his thing forever. He's always been making his kind of movies, and that's what's great about him.
And they're always going to give M. Night his money. So
the thing is, people talk shit about M. Night, but then they go see the M. Night movie. But he's awesome. He's great at promoting his films. Universal is great at promoting his films. Right. But so far, those have been the success stories. Megan, Knock at the Cabin, Cocaine Bear, Creed, and now Scream 6. Which, again, a couple of franchise movies. But I think it's important to note that these are not big superhero films. These are smaller scale films. So,
I mean, we were at the forefront. I think we called it last year because, like you said, we've always been championing a wide variety of movies at the theaters. Like, there's some movies that you have to see at the theaters, some that you could wait to see, on the smaller screen. And for the most part, Marvel has been, you got to go see at the theater.
Right.
But with Ant-Man, I felt like I could just wait to see it on Disney Plus. And Scream 6, I had to see it at the theater. Cocaine Bear, which is one of those like on the fringes of do I need to see it at the screen or do I need to see it at home? But when I saw it at the theater with the crowd and the audience and everybody's laughing, it made it worth.
Exactly.
You want to laugh with people. You just don't want to laugh at home by yourself. You seem like a weirdo. It's like drinking at home by yourself. You just seem weird.
Right. Laughing is infectious. Some movies are, they're not the greatest. I don't think Cocaine Bear is the greatest movie, but I thought it was entertaining, and the energy with the crowd was so good, and it made the movie better. It uplifts you in a way.
Which in movie news, right? They greenlit Cocaine Shark. I heard.
I saw that. Yeah. And Meth Gator Asylum is pumping these out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But you know what? Again, I also want to give kudos to Elizabeth Banks because she directed Pitch Perfect 2, and then she had a bad time with Charlie's Angels, the reboot, which she directed. And I felt like maybe Hollywood had sort of like not like forgotten about her as a director, but she came back with a force with Cocaine Bear. I'm so glad that she did a great job on that.
No, I agree. I really dug that movie, man. I think in the hands, I know some people didn't like it. There's a vocal minority that really did not like that movie. I think this movie could have been a big meme, and that's about it. My favorite parts of the movies were the characters. where like all these characters that you follow at the same time and they encounter the bear, and how are they all going to meet? O'Shea Jackson, Alden Ehrenreich, another guy that everybody counted out because, oh, he's not Harrison Ford. I wanted to do a shout out to Mike Jones, by the way.
Mike
Welcome back, man.
Jones.
Wait, Silent better not fuck up Meth Gator. Meth Gator's a true story. That's a biography. But no, I agree with you. In the wrong hands, I feel like this could have been something different, but I think Elizabeth understood. Let me get really funny people and great actors to deliver these funny lines. It's not the greatest script in the world, but everything just does just enough to pump up that bear. That bear is fun and cool. And the ambulance chase is one of the coolest things I've seen so far this year. And a year starting off is pretty solid. We're not getting too many shitty movies so far.
No. The only shitty movies that we're getting are like the new Netflix releases.
Right. And Netflix, I feel like at this point, somebody's holding a gun to like the CEO's head. It's like, make more shitty movies. Just like, where are we going to play? I don't know. Just keep doing it. They're the only ones, yeah. But no, early on this year, I like that we're getting variety. Another movie, I told you about it. We talked about it. Where's the sex comedies? Where are the adult Judd Apatow style comedies that kind of went missing? And J-Law has a new movie, which it was already on my radar. I think maybe we mentioned it. What's the movie called? I'm blanking on the title now.
I don't know, but is she coming back? Like, I know
she's gonna be big. That trailer, I'm blanking on the name. If somebody is in the comments, the movie looks hilarious, and she looks awesome in it. Listen, and it broke the record for most viewed comedy trailer.
I don't understand. I enjoy J-Law and the movies that she's done. So, but I guess she was like the hottest actress. She was in everything, right after Hunger Games.
At one point, she was the flavor of the week.
Right, she was in everything, but I never got tired of her like some people did. I didn't think she was a terrible actress. I didn't think she was great either. I just thought, she's working, and sometimes that's what you want to see. But then she stepped away from the limelight, and I guess I'm glad that she's back.
I think another thing people are seeing is like you can't fake a Hollywood star charisma, and J-Law has it. Jennifer Lawrence has it in spades. She's very charismatic
from Kentucky too.
And I think people missed that. I think they saw that trailer. Why is the name escaping me? I knew the name all weekend. But anyway, it looks really funny. It looks like Sex Drive or The Graduate or something. And she looks great in it. And everybody can't stop talking about her now. And she's got a couple of projects lined up. I know she was in that film Causeway on Apple that had a lot of talk as well with Brian Tyree Henry. So I think what we're seeing is people want to see the movie star back. They want to see comedies. They want to laugh again. I think Avatar, which me and you both loved, is a big reason why we're seeing people went out and saw this big movie, and now they're like, okay, we want more. We want to see other kinds of movies, and now we're getting that.
Cody said no hard feelings.
No hard feelings. Thank you, Cody. No hard feelings. Sorry, I don't know why I was blanking on the name. But that looks really funny. I think it looks really, really funny. Connor says Cocaine Bear was never going to strive to win an Oscar. From what I can tell, it knew its role and rocked it. Yeah, I mean, if anything, I guess maybe it could have went harder into the R rating. But again, I don't think the movie's really trying to go full horror. If anything, it's like Rat Race with a bear. Just a bunch of characters meeting up. There's a MacGuffin. They're all going after it. The bear is in the mix. That's really it. But I thought the cast was the best part of that movie. And I brought up, Alden Ehrenreich, who everybody hated because of Star Wars, is in the midst of a comeback himself. He's got like 3 or 4 movies this year alone that have talk, between Cocaine Bear, which he's one of the best parts of, and there's another movie called, God damn, why am I blanking on movie titles? Anyway, it's erotic sex thriller that is apparently pretty amazing, coming to, shockingly, Netflix. They bought it for like $20 million, but I heard it's an awesome movie. No hard feelings, man. I think it looks really good. I think it looks like a lot of fun. Creed 3. Let's talk about Creed 3. We wanted to bring this back for Creed 3. Again, we've been moving this back nonstop. But Creed 3 is a movie me and you were both anticipating. We knew it was going to be a big hit, but we also knew no Stallone. Stallone was not going to be in this. I'm not going to go into the plot, but I'll give a quick rundown. in Creed 3, this is a time jump. He is the champion. He is considering retirement, and a figure from his past reemerges, played by Jonathan Majors. Damien. Dangerous Dame.
Dame.
Diamond Dame. Good to see y'all once again. Good to see you too, man. So Creed 3 takes a different route than its predecessors. Does not lean into nostalgia at all. We do not hear the Rocky theme at all. There's like maybe one mention of the character. This is structurally and tonally a Michael B. Jordan movie. And man, Gabe, let's talk about it. What did you think of Creed 3?
Creed 3, man, there's a lot I could say about it. I thought that when we talked about Creed 3 coming out this year, right? Everybody was talking about Michael B. Jordan loves anime. He was wanting to do the anime style fighting sequences, and I didn't want to like talk shit about it because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait and see how that plans out, right? So we finally get to see it, and those fights were some of the best fights in the Rocky franchise.
I agree.
It was the close up, the look of pain and anguish in the eyes, like he did like these close up to the eyes when they would get hit, like the body shots or whatever, and then you could see the pain in the eyes. It's just like it's some of like the most beautifully shot fighting scenes that I've seen.
You brought up the close ups. That reminded me of like old spaghetti westerns, like a Clint Eastwood movie. Every fight in this movie starts off with a close up of the eyes of the opponent, close up of the belts, close up of the gloves, and it's building up this tension. And by the time the violence happens, I felt like the violence in this was the most brutal out of the three. It's just like pound for pound chaos.
Well, that fight that Dame had with Felix, the Mexican fighter.
Yeah, Mike just brought that up right now.
I thought that was the most brutal part of it. Those arm punches, like you could feel that. Like
you feel everything. Yeah.
I'm sitting in my seat and I'm like feeling those arm punches. I'm like, God damn, my arm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was just one of the best parts of the movie, was just the fight sequences. You and I talked about this after we both watched it. I really didn't care that Stallone wasn't in it. Like I didn't miss him. Rocky was mentioned once, and I'm so glad that I love Sly. You and I have talked about how much we love Sly. We've had shrines.
Right. Yes.
We have shrines to Sly because Sly is one of our favorites. You know, at the same time, I feel like Creed and this franchise just needed a fresher breath air without the shadow looming of Stallone. Like he made it himself. Like this is finally Creed, just Creed. It's not like Creed 2 with Stallone and the history of Drago, and then the first one in the history of Apollo. No, this is just Adonis Creed, and that's it. No Rocky, no nothing. It's just Creed.
Right. And I want to touch on that too. And Cody brought up Jonathan. Jonathan Majors is incredible in this. I've been talking him up. I think Gabe, we've both been talking him up, man. We both been saying this dude's coming up. He has a new movie called Magazine Dreams where he plays a bodybuilder addicted to steroids, and it's about his mental downward spiral. I heard it's the best performance of 2023. Not sure when that's coming out. I heard it's insane and dark. I've heard a lot of Taxi Driver comparisons to that. So I'm excited for it. But this movie, back to Stallone, I love Stallone. I love most of his movies, even stuff like Oscar. So like that's how much I love the guy. But when it comes to Creed, I feel like the reason why it's been a success is because Coogler and company have been able to take the tools and forge their own path. That's why Creed is so cool. That's why all three of these movies work. Creed 1 is amazing. Stallone should have won Best Supporting Actor. I think everybody's in agreement with that. Looking back, maybe Mark Rylance shouldn't have won it. As good as he was in Bridge of Spies. Creed 2, to me, feels like the torch had been passed. There's a whole shot where they fist bump. It's in slow motion. It's a close-up that Rocky is moving on. And I know Stallone wanted to be involved in this, and his grudge is what a producer, Erwin Winkler, who produced these movies, produced Raging Bull, and his grudge is with him. But also, I mean, what would we have wanted? Stallone wanted to do Rocky 7. Again, it would have been a story about him training a new fighter. I don't know if I'd be interested in that. We already have Creed. We already fell in love with Creed. If he decides to come back for Creed 4, cool. At the same time, I feel like with this story, it's so personal. And we get this amazing backstory in the opening sequence, setting up the brotherhood between these two guys and the grudge match that's going to transpire throughout the film. We didn't need Rocky in this. This is a battle that only Adonis could have fought on his own. There's nobody he could turn to for help. This is his Frankenstein's monster. That's why it's him against Dane.
Right.
That whole third act is them. The crowd ceases to exist in that third act. It's just them punching each other's lights out. And I don't even know where you would put Stallone in this. Besides one key moment. There's one moment, I won't spoil it because I'm sure, it's second week. People, I'm sure, want to see it. There's a key moment in this movie that is pretty emotional that I don't see why Stallone would not be mentioned at all. But other than that, I didn't think about him all that much.
Yeah, no. I'll do one knock I will have, and I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. So, but is his relationship with his daughter. I didn't feel like there was a lot of love there. Like the daughter aspect, I could have been take it or leave it for me.
She's cute and she's really good, but I do agree that could have been developed just a bit more.
Right.
It is short. This is the shortest of the Creed movies.
Right. Yeah, it needed a little bit more development. Now I do see, and I think I told you, for if they do decide to do a Creed 4 or jump over, I do see them jumping in time, in a sense, and picking up, female Creed.
They've talked about it. They're already the Amazon is all in. Amazon bought MGM, and they were so ridiculously shocked by these numbers. Amazon, for those of you who don't know, because I want to talk about Air too, because Amazon is producing, they're changing the game with streaming. Amazon saying, and everybody's been saying this, there's a Wall Street thread, there's a theory going around on Wall Street that streaming is not sustainable. Me and you have talked about that before.
We've talked about that. We know that it's not.
We predicted this. We said this.
Nobody listens to us. That's why our subscribers are so low, because nobody listens to us.
Nobody listens to us. But you see guys like Bob Iger, you see people at Amazon, they're going, oh shit, we need to push theatrical windows. And then we also need to push physical media, which Bob Iger at Disney is back in the chair and saying, we're pushing physical media, we're pushing 90-day theatrical windows. Who else said this? Tom Cruise, James Cameron, guys that have been in this business that said, if you want theaters to succeed, you need to go see movies in theaters. Amazon saw that last weekend with Creed 3. It made, what did it make? 75 worldwide or 100 million worldwide,
right.
58 stateside. It was insane. They have this. They put a ton of money into Air, which comes out next month, which I think I'm so pumped for that. Ridiculously pumped. And I think these are people that understand if we want to see movies survive, we have to see movies in theaters. So, I just wanted to touch on that because they're doing a whole Creed subdivision franchise. They're doing an anime series. They're doing something with the daughter, which they have not said what it's going to be. So they're all in on Creed. This movie has really blown the socks off of them. And I think that's awesome. Franchise stuff I really, don't care about. As long as the movie's good. But I like that these studios are recognizing stop with streaming, theaters only. That's it.
It's about time. Like, listen, I was talking to some people last week, and a lot of them were like, "Oh, you do a movie thing, and that's cool." Like, "Oh, we stopped going to the theaters." It's like, there's no point. He's like, if I go to the theaters, he's like, it's going to be on Amazon or Netflix like the next week.
In like a week.
Like a week. They're like, why should I go to the theaters? And I'm like, because of the experience. Like, I'm a big proponent of the experience that you got at the theaters. You showed me the Dolby way, and if I could see it in Dolby, I'm gonna see it in Dolby. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just the experience that you get from going to a theater. And I'm glad that everything is cyclical, and yeah, we had the pandemic. Yeah, people go ahead and go, but now guess what? People could go. People got their, whatever political side thing. People got vaccinated or they didn't, but this whole pandemic has really, it's not done and over with, but whatever, nobody talks about it anymore. People are going to the theaters again.
No, yeah, people are going to theaters again. I think you should go to the theaters again. If you're comfortable with it, go. And I think, again, we mentioned Avatar. That was a big proponent. Top Gun was certainly, that movie just wouldn't go away. But Avatar as well. Avatar just kept staying in that top 3. Plus, I fucking loved the movie. I thought it was amazing. But
I told you it was gonna be. I told you it was gonna be amazing.
You know what? Seeing I always liked the first one, but rewatching that first one in theaters cemented like, oh yeah, this movie was great. Like this movie was. I think everybody forgets how great that first one is on the big screen, and seeing the re-release of that really made me go, fuck, Avatar 2 is going to be not only good, it's going to be amazing. I saw it like 3 times, and you saw it twice, didn't you?
I saw it. I did see it twice.
Yeah, I saw it. It's 3.5 hours. It's so good.
It's so good. It's like it flies by, and I hate myself because, in that sense, it's because there was a time period where I was very cynical about like big releases, and I was like, I ain't gonna watch Avatar. Fuck that movie. Whatever. And so I didn't see it in theaters when it first came out. I saw it 2 years later on VHS in a small 23-inch TV. If you could imagine, right? This whole freaking technology-filled movie. I saw it on VHS.
TV.
Yeah. And then I upgraded to Blu-ray, and then I saw it on Blu-ray, and then I was like, oh shit. So when it came back on theaters, I told Jess, I was like, hey, let's go watch this in theaters. Let's go see this in IMAX 3D in theaters. And I was like, oh my god, like why did I not watch this originally fucking 20 years ago like this? But yeah, Avatar 2. Yeah.
Avatar 2 was great. I saw it in theaters. Cameron is the goddamn man. He is. And Avatar 2, I think, is probably one of the best sequels I've seen. So I think Avatar 2 blows the first one out the water. And I did love the first one.
It does. But I also want to talk about, what Cody said. Does this cement Cameron, and I know you're a Spielberg fan, and I know you love him, but this cement Cameron as the best director of all time? Is he the GOAT? Is he top 5 GOATs? Is he just number 1?
I don't know. I don't know who. I guess it's all personal preference. I think some people always count out Cameron because he takes so long to make movies. Now he does, and like, we're gonna have Avatar 3. We're gonna have Avatar 4 rather quickly because they shot most of the footage in like 2017.
Don't forget Avatar 5 because Avatar 5 was dependent on how well this one did.
Right. And another thing, what's crazy? Side note, Spider is in Scream 6, but he shot Avatar 2 when he was like 13. Insane. Just insane. Side note.
All right. Well, I guess Tony left, so it's just me. Something happened. He probably got a phone call. But
am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
I don't know what's going on. Let me go to my settings, audio. Let me take myself out and come back in.
Deuces. It's the Gabe show now.
Can you hear me?
All right. Okay, so I don't know. I think Cameron for sure is.
Real quick question: does my audio sound weird?
Not really.
Is it that 10 sound effect? Because for some reason it's saying that. Hold on. Let me. Speak.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. We're good. Sorry, it connected to the headphones and it does that weird audio sound. What were you saying, Gabe? I'm sorry, it like disconnected for some reason.
All I'm saying is, I think, in my eyes, Cameron is basically at the best in the game right now. And you go all the way back to like Aliens, the Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, 1 and 2, True Lies, which we absolutely adore. True Lies. Titanic, right? Because Titanic re-released about a week before Avatar 2 did, and it did just bonkers amount of money again for Titanic.
The Avatar re-release?
No, the Titanic re-release.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, the Titanic released, I believe. No, it was in February.
And it made 20 million again, like in 1 week.
Yeah, it made it made 20
right.
million.
And then we're talking about, then he produced, and I know because he was doing the Avatar sequels. He was supposed to do Alita Battle Angel, but that also did bonkers money, even though Robert Rodriguez did it. But it was based off James Cameron's work already.
Right. That was supposed to fail, and they said that it broke even. If they wanted to do a sequel, they could certainly do it if they wanted to.
Which they've always talked about doing a sequel to Battle Angel, but
Right.
Yeah,
And The Abyss. Cody mentioned The Abyss. That's a really good one. Another one that you can't find really on physical media at all.
right. So I mean, I know he's big explosions, big action, and he's not like Quentin Tarantino as far as like dialogue is concerned or script writing, but the way his movies are set up is unique to a James Cameron experience.
Right.
And just that alone, for me at least, in my eyes, I would put him like first. And then I watched the War of the Worlds today, Spielberg film.
Spielberg, yeah.
I would put Spielberg 2 in my eyes. I'd be like Cameron 1, Spielberg 2 for me.
Yeah. I think Spielberg he certainly has a lot of misses in his later years. There's a whole gap there from like stuff like the BFG and like things that you don't even think about anymore, like The Post. Like, who the fuck is talking about that? That kind of like brings him down a few notches, but then you can remember the man did Jaws, he did Jurassic Park, he did all these crazy things, E.T., and all the Indiana Jones movies, and The Fabelmans, which that's my favorite movie from last year. I loved The Fabelmans. I thought it was so good. But I think Cameron, what makes him great is something that I guess we don't talk about enough, is he really cares about emotion and romance. And maybe his dialogue's not the best. Maybe his writing's not the greatest. But his visuals and his humanity is what makes his movies so well.
Right.
Titanic, like, man, I've seen that movie so many times. But seeing it in IMAX 3D, I was crying my eyes out. Like I've never seen it before.
Right.
I think
Connor says Spielberg's best is better than Cameron's best, and you know what?
I would agree with that. I would say for sure, but I think Cameron. I don't think Cameron really has a miss. I don't like these, but his output's like 8 movies. Like, he takes 20-year gaps to make these things.
Right. It's sort of like I mean, here's the thing, right? It's sort of like when you talk about directors, everybody has their own different type of style, right? But it's sort of like saying, oh, who's the best basketball player, Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron, right? You're gonna have people in Jordan's camp, you're gonna have people in Kobe's camp, you're gonna have people in LeBron's camp for some reason. But whatever, we're not gonna debate basketball.
I think it's a fun debate when it comes to directors, right? Because everybody is so different.
Right.
Cody, quick question. Which team are you on? Did he say Cameron or did he say Spielberg? Just trying to see which one he disagreed with.
He did not say. He said Cameron is a sequel man, but he hasn't said who is he taking, Spielberg or Cameron.
Okay, yeah. I guess we'll see what Cody says. But no, I think Connor raises a great point.
Cody's saying he's taking Cameron.
He's taking Cameron. Okay. No, I think Cameron's output is pretty spectacular, and even his writing and his producing and stuff. Which, by the way, speaking of Cameron, and like I said, this show is just going to be like whatever. Like, we're just talking about everything at this point. But I watched the movie, and I told Gabe about it because I had never seen it, and I love Catherine Bigelow, but this has always been a blind spot for me in her films. And this is a movie that you could barely find on streaming, no Blu-ray release. But HBO had put it out, and it is the film Strange Days, where Ray Fiennes and Angela Bassett. And I watched it for the first time, written by James Cameron, directed by Catherine Bigelow. Amazing. If I had a list of the best 90 movies, would totally be on there. I thought it was so cool. I like the cyberpunk aesthetic. Kind of reminded me of Johnny Mnemonic, the movie that you like.
Oh, yeah,
which,
I do.
You love that movie. Kind of would make a cool double feature, I feel like. But Strange Days was so cool. I just wanted to shout that out because
it is that whole steampunk motif is very futuristic. Steampunk motif is very. Right. I don't know. I enjoy that. So when you told me to watch it, I was like, all right, I'll watch it. I was like, all right, I'm good. That's a good one.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I just wanted to talk because like Cameron, even when it comes to his writing and stuff too, like he's pretty consistent. Sometimes he has really stupid ideas, like. God, thank God nobody let him make Spider-Man. Thank fucking God nobody let him make Spider-Man. He wanted Peter to jizz all over the place with his webs and have sex with Mary Jane on top of the Empire State Building. Which maybe that does sound cool. I don't know. Cameron to me is like a combo of Spielberg and Cronenberg. That's pretty cool. That is a good comparison right there.
Yeah.
That's a good assessment. Brett, what's up, Brett, man? Love Bigelow. She gave me Point Break and Near Dark. That is true. That is true.
China,
Bigelow's another
Utah.
one. Bigelow does not have a lot of misses. I watched another one with Catherine Bigelow, which I'd seen maybe parts of, but nothing in full. And it's the movie Blue Steel with Jamie Lee Curtis, which I think might be her best performance. Honestly, I thought it was really creepy. That film was really creepy.
Speaking of Cronenberg, did you watch Infinity Pool? His son.
I've not. You have this in like your top 4, I think, right?
It's my top. It's my top 2 as of right now, behind Creed 3 for the year.
Okay, yeah, you loved it. I know a lot of people did. I have not seen either of his son's movies, Brandon Cronenberg's movies. I know he did Possessor, which people love, and then he also did this.
I was on the fence on Possessor, and I'm not a huge Cronenberg fan. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like a whole filmography of Cronenberg and his son. I'm not big on his movies, but for some reason, Infinity Pool just something like struck the right nerve with me, just like the weirdness that it was, and just like the whole thing. I was like, yeah, I dug it a lot.
Yeah, I gotta jump into those. Honestly, his son is a blind spot, but for me, Cronenberg, my favorite movies of his are his crime movies. A History of Violence, Eastern Promises. Eastern Promises has one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in a film.
I think for me at least, I think his best cameo was Jason X when he dies.
That's right. That's right. He's a good actor. And weird that he wanted to be in that, because that was his idea to be in that movie.
Who doesn't want to be in a Jason movie?
I guess, yeah, he must have been a fan. Blue Steel is awesome. Silver is great. Silver is terrifying in that movie. That movie there's some legit terrifying scenes. Best Halloween sequel. All right, Gabe, what else do you want to talk about?
I just want to go back. Did you say Blue Steel was Jamie Lee Curtis's best performance?
I think it might be her best performance.
Better than Trading Places?
Better than Trading Places.
Would you like to see the meatballs?
She's great in that movie, and I think Trading Places is pretty underrated. But I think with the things that the Halloween films, which I loved that trilogy. I thought they were really good. Everything they were trying to say in those movies about trauma and being attacked by somebody, I feel like that movie Blue Steel does it way better. Right. And she's more badass in that movie too.
I'll have to check it out.
You gotta check it out, man. I think it's like you can find it on like Tubi TV or any of those. It's got some weird streaming thing where you can't rent it, but you could stream it for free with ads. But
I'm not doing it then.
Maybe you'll never see it. Find like a VHS copy, I guess, because I don't think it's got another.
I don't do ads. I am sorry, guys, and I'm setting my foot down here. I don't do ads.
I don't like it either.
I pay for the premium stuff, so I don't avoid all ads. I pay extra for all that stuff, and I can't do it with Tubi because they don't have a paid no ad platform. So.
Well, you know what Paramount? You know what sucks about Paramount? Paramount's great because it's awesome because you could password share. They don't fuck with you or anything.
Nobody cares. Only Netflix is the only one that fucking cares about password sharing.
Well, Hulu does too. Hulu, you can't even take Hulu. You could watch it wherever you could. They changed it. Now you have to be in your house attached to your IP address in order to enjoy your Hulu.
Lies.
It's stupid. Hulu Live.
Hulu Live. Okay, yeah. Hulu Live. But the regular Hulu that I have with no ads, I'm
Hulu regular you can. It used to be though that Hulu Live you could take it wherever you want. I mean, you're paying $65, why not? But now they've changed it. But Paramount makes you watch like 400 seconds of ads before they play their movie, which is kind of nuts. Right. Because I rewatched Babylon, and there was like a shit ton of ads before the movie starts.
You gotta go ad free.
I know. Is there ad free for Paramount? I don't know.
There is. It's like $10 a month.
Jamie Lee Curtis is creepy in Mother's Boys. I've seen art of that movie. I remember the VHS tape. I've not watched it. I heard that's a guilty pleasure for some folks. I heard it's pretty creepy. I have seen The Good Son. Culkin is pretty terrifying. You don't fuck
should we go to the movie of the hour now at this point? You want to transition?
Do we talk about Scream?
Should we talk Scream 6? Should we go Scream 6?
Sure. I guess we'll keep it brief.
We don't want to spoil anything. This just came out this weekend. We're not going to spoil anything. So don't worry if you haven't seen it. We're not going to give anything away. We're not going to tell you that Tony's the killer.
Right. I am the killer. No, actually, it's Elon Musk. Um, okay, so for Scream 6, I guess we should talk about our thoughts on 5, right? Like we've both enjoyed part 5. In fact, I think we both said we loved it. We made it when we made the video. I had a pretty fun experience with that with an audience.
We did. Didn't we see that together? Like one
Did
of the
we?
last movies that we saw together before you abandoned me to go to Arizona.
Were you with us, or I think maybe you sat in the back. I don't think you sat near us, right? Didn't you get tickets, but you were behind me or something?
I don't know. Anyways, we both did love Scream 5. We both
We did. Yeah, we
came
both
out
loved
to
it.
theaters enjoying it very much. We loved the Carpenter sisters. We loved the
Yes.
survivors in that movie. We thought they were fresh and witty. Um, Nothing that we've ever seen before. But yeah, we gave a lot of kudos to Scream 5,
Yeah,
which
we
made
both
us
really loved it.
super excited for Scream 6 when that got instantly announced, which I'm assuming within the next week and a half, we'll get a Scream 7 update. Yeah, like how that's
We
been
probably
going.
will, especially with the box office now. We'll get an update for sure.
Right.
We'll start us off, Gabe. What did you think of Scream 6?
So I said this to you earlier, and I read a tweet earlier today by Cody Leach saying that at this point, Scream is a bigger franchise than Nightmare on Elm Street. And you know what? I'm gonna have to agree, and it pains me to say it because I'm a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan. Like Freddy Krueger, he's been the guy for me since I've been 6 years old when I watched the first one, right? Um, but I'm gonna tell you that Scream 6
What's up, Strange Monkey?
it's Scream hasn't not made a bad movie in its entire franchise. It's 6 movies in, they haven't made a bad movie, and I really loved Scream 6. I think I'm gonna, and I don't want to be like a victim, to the moment, but I guess I am. When I say Scream 6, I thought was so much better than 5, um, just because of the way that Ghostface was handled. And again, I don't want to say anything away, but just the way that he was, the goriness, the kills to me are some of the best in the franchise. And I just came out of Scream 6. I was like loving it, just screaming its praises as soon as I went back up to like the soda machine to refill for my ride home, and some guy was wearing a Scream costume. And I was like, dude, you're gonna love this movie. I was like, I loved it. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. As he's like putting butter on his popcorn. So yeah, I loved it.
It is a great. Again, we talk about the audience experience. This is a great audience film.
Yeah.
I think these movies know what they are. They know that you're coming in this. You know the soap opera of it all. You're invested. You want to see what happens, and that's what these movies are at this point. Like, you come back for the characters each and every time. You know what's going to happen. You know that there's somebody that has a grudge against somebody. That's why they're killing everybody, and it's going to be revealed in the third act. But it's about the journey there. It's about the kills. It's about the scares. And I think this movie has one of the best scares in the franchise with the audience, with the apartment. I won't go into it, but there's an apartment chase that is great, and I was scared shitless. I was like jumping and out of my seat and stuff, and I thought it was so inventive, and I thought it was really good. Radio Silence, they were the perfect guys to direct these movies. More of my thoughts, I guess. I don't know if I like it as much as 5. I think I like them about the same. I think 6, I did start it off with, that opening, great. I thought it was inventive, terrifying. I did think the first 20 or so minutes, it took me a while to get invested and for the movie to find its footing. But once it takes off, it's like a rocket. And it's so relentless. The pace, it's just crazy. And it is incredibly entertaining.
It is.
It is so entertaining, and you're in love with these characters. They call themselves the Core Four, and that's the
Core 4.
right. That's the Meek twins. That's the Carpenter sisters, and they're awesome. I love Mindy and Chad. Those characters are so good, and I don't need the OGs anymore because somebody else I want to highlight. Melissa got so much shit last year, and people are saying, "Oh, she sounds weird delivering dialogue." And they were essentially just making fun of her accent. It sounds like she's ridiculously good in this movie. And she's so physical in the things that they make her do. And she has such great energy. And I loved her in The Heights. She's awesome in these. She's a certified scream queen. I know everybody's going to mention Jenna Ortega. I have nothing bad to say. Jenna Ortega is great. There's reasons why she's again, on top of the world, getting offers to do Beetlejuice 2. They're great together. The girls in this are just awesome. I mean, Kirby, another one, fan favorite, that easily could have been nostalgia bait, and to an extent it kind of is, but I think Hayden Panettiere wants to be there, and it's clear that she loved doing Scream 4, that everything they ask of her to do in this, she's just a joy to watch.
Right.
So I don't think it has like the best motive in the franchise. It's definitely something we've seen before, but I think the movie shines in scaring you and entertaining you, and it might be one of the most entertaining out of the I mean, all these movies are really good, but it's in the upper tier of entertainment for sure. I mean, there's so many sequences, the subway sequence, the bodega stuff that's in the trailers, all that stuff is just memorable and visceral. And that's what you come to these movies for. It's just like, what's something that I could go to on the ride home, go out to eat, and we're still talking about it. And that's what this movie does. I think.
Absolutely. I think Radio Silence has done a phenomenal job with these past two movies on keeping Scream fresh, cool, hip, whatever adjective you want to use in this. They've done a phenomenal job, making sure that Scream doesn't fall the way Nightmare on Elm Street did, the way Halloween has done, and Friday the 13th, which is just having installments that just for the sake of having an installment, just for having a movie. It's they've made sure that they honor the past, but at the same time, like build something towards the future. And like you said, I think if we do get a Scream 7, if and when that Scream 7 comes out, I don't need legacy characters anymore. Just sure, it's great to see Kirby. It's great to see everybody, but no, let's sort of like go back to with like Creed, right? It's like let's keep it fresh. Let's keep it moving. Let's give me new core characters that I could talk about, years down the line about how great they were in, Scream 5 or Scream 6 or whatever.
Right. No, I agree. And I think Gale is great. I mean, we haven't mentioned Gale. Courtney Cox is great in these. I think, to me, my favorite stuff with Gale is in 1 and 2, because it's the element of this is a character that is despicable and shouldn't survive, and she's just as memorable as the final girl as Sydney. And she's just as important, if not even more important, just because of how good Courtney Cox is in the role. And this, she's certainly good. That's the only element that feels kind of out of place. It's a great scene. She has great scenes in this. But, yeah, you kind of could just take her out of it. Right?
You could have just...
You really don't need those cameos anymore. Dewey was important. I feel like Dewey was important in laying out the rules in the last movie. Perfectly used in like this Han Solo kind of thing of bringing the new cast under his wing, laying down the rules, and obviously we know what happens in that movie with him making this ultimate sacrifice. I guess, can I spoiler alert for that movie if you haven't?
For Scream 5? Does that even count?
I don't know. I guess it's been like a year and a half. But Strange Monkey, Melissa deserves a lot of credit for her work in this one. She's great. She really is. And I thought that
I think she outshined Jenna. To be honest,
she did.
She outshined Jenna, and like we said, Jenna's great at what she does. She will continue to be great, but in this movie, Melissa just like...
Is this her movie? I think last movie, that character was so subdued that we didn't see how relentless she can be until that last 10 minutes or so. And this movie really highlights all of that and what she can bring to the table. And it's a big reason why she was cast. She's just that damn good. So, yeah, overall, I really liked this. I think in terms of my ranking of the Scream movies, and that I have somewhat of a ranking that I shared with you in our conversations, but it's definitely within, like, I don't know, the topper tier, if that means anything. Is these? I like all of these. But,
I like all these. Like the last Scream movie I would put would maybe be Scream 4 at number 6, but it's only because one movie has to be in last place when you're ranking these. But it's not like, oh yeah, it's the worst Scream. No, like I said, I have enjoyed all 6 of these, and it's hard to rank a franchise like this when you enjoy all of them. Like when I rank Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm like, God damn, I really hated, parts whatever, or Halloween when you're like, shit, I really don't like 4, 5, and 6,
Right, there's ones that you could clearly go, well, okay, with this franchise, that goes on the fucking bottom. With Scream, it's hard. I mean, if you really like these movies, I'm sure there's people out there that hate them. In fact, they'll probably hate all of them. But no, I agree with you. It's like, what do you put on the bottom? For me, it would probably be Scream 3. I think Scream 3 is the one that, to me, comes off as the most flawed, obviously because they were forced to do a bunch of rewrites, and it's not the film it was supposed to be. I also think Roman is a boring-ass killer. I think that's the worst killer for me in any of these movies. Hot take. Roman is a bad Ghostface. Like, I don't think he's a good Ghostface.
Because he went solo dolo?
Not only that, it's a boring reason. And him being the mastermind, like, oh, I got billions too, I put them up for it. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Parker Posey's the best part of that movie. Other than that, it's really entertaining, but it's, to me, a huge step down for the first two. But
right.
Still, whenever that movie comes on, I still watch it. So I don't hate it, obviously. But yeah, no, I think this is definitely upper tier, and I really, really enjoyed it. So
I feel like they should actually make a stab movie, so like a serious parody of like the Scream franchise, and just have like a stab one. And I think that would go over like that'd be like the meta fucking horror.
That'd be insanely meta. There's a new did we talk about this? There's a trailer out for a new like spoof slasher movie. And it kind of looks like a Wayne's film. And it's called The Blackening. And I saw
that. It's I forget the name of the comedian. He's a skinny guy. Shit. But yeah, I've seen that.
Right, it's about the tropes of the slasher films and how the black characters always die first. It looks really funny, and I've heard it kind of, I think, premiered last year at some festivals, and it's got some good word of mouth. So.
Right, it's like the trailer's like, well, who's gonna die off first? It's like 5 black people.
Right. That's like the punchline of the trailer and the poster. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking about that movie. But yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on Scream 6. I thought it was solid entry, great moments.
Go see it in theaters.
Go see it in theaters. See it in theaters. See all these movies that have been coming out in theaters. But I don't know, man. What else do you want to talk about?
So we got about 8 minutes. Tonight's the Oscars. I told Tony I wanted to do a 5-hour live stream of the Oscars. And he's like, fuck no. What the hell are you smoking? So I feel like
ridiculously long. And he just mentioned he doesn't like commercial breaks. We would have a ton of commercial breaks.
We could talk. We could
be watching people on the red carpet. Like, oh yeah, cool. Brad Pitt.
We could talk to our audience, our two people, and one of and we could talk to them. Anyways, I want to know who you got for best actor, best actress, and best picture for this year.
Okay, I'm not picking anybody that I personally want to win. I'm just excluding that because there's a lot of movies that I like that didn't make nominations or whatever the case. I don't think they're going to be in the running. Whatever. I'm going straight off objectively as I can be. What do I think Oscar voters are voting for? Right now, we're seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once has swept every single awards ceremony they've been in. Like, wiped the floor with everybody. So best actress, I'm going Michelle Yeoh. She was great in that movie. That movie's awesome. She's going to win. I think at this point, they're just going to hand it to her. I'd be shocked if she doesn't win. I think at this point, it'd be fucked up for her not to win. Best actor. I'm just going to shoot these off real quick and then just let Gabe go. I'm leaning Brendan Fraser. He is good in that movie. I don't think he's going to win. I think the younger guy's going to pull the upset. I think Austin Butler might win.
Fuck him.
Hey, I loved Elvis. But
Fuck
I
him
don't
too.
know. I don't know. Best supporting actor, Ke Huy Quan. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win at this point. He's America's sweetheart. Everybody wants him to win. It'd be crazy not to give it to him. But hey, Stallone was supposed to win, didn't win, and he was the obvious choice. Best director. That's a tough one. I don't think the Daniels are going to win it, just because of how snooty and old most voters are. I could see them maybe giving that to somebody else. I don't think The Fabelmans is going to grab anything. I love the movie, but it doesn't seem like it's gathering traction. I think it's going to be a Everything Everywhere All at Once sweep, pretty much. I think it might be. I think we might be looking at a film that gets like 9 Oscars this evening. And then what's another big one? Best Supporting Actress.
Best Supporting Actress, and then you have you said Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I think that's gonna win. I'd be shocked. Some people think Top Gun might pull an upset and win Best Picture, which, again, I like all these movies, so, like, personally, I really don't care who wins. If Top Gun pulls the win, that would be funny, and I think it would be really cool. I think Best Supporting, I think Angela Bassett's getting a lot of steam. She might gather it. People want Jamie Lee Curtis. I think, if anything, Jamie Lee might get it just to give her flowers.
Right.
Just for being in this industry for so long. That happens a lot. So she might get that. I have a feeling it might be Angela Bassett. I don't know, but the other ones, I guess it's anybody's game at that point. But I think Everything Everywhere is kind of gonna sweep the night.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you that I feel for at least for Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that's a lock. I think you could lock that one in.
Yes.
When it comes to like actor, I think you're right. My favorite in that is Brendan Fraser. Obviously, nostalgia factor.
It's an underdog story. We want him to win, right?
Right. And I love The Whale for personal reasons. But I think they're gonna give it to Austin Butler, and I fucking hate that because I did not like Elvis.
Did you watch it? I don't think we ever even talked about it.
Yeah, well, I watched Elvis. Of course, I watched.
Did you not think he was good?
I thought he was good, but I mean, it's Elvis. Like, I don't find Elvis that compelling. I mean, one of the things that that you should know, or a lot of people should know, is when I hate on something, I actually watch the stuff so that way I know what I'm hating on. Like when I say, that I don't like Denzel Washington, is I actually watch a lot of his fucking films. It doesn't make me a fan, but I watch them.
Why do you?
Just because I can say, well, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there because I think I said his son is a better actor a couple of times. But anyways, I just don't like Elvis. Elvis didn't connect with me. I'm sorry, I can't connect on somebody that steals black music and then gets famous.
I think it's fair. It's a fair criticism.
I can't connect to that. So I as much as I would say Austin Butler did a great job. He sounded like Elvis. The story itself just didn't land with me as much as Brendan Fraser did with The Whale. So, but like you said, I think they're going to give it to Austin Butler. In a supporting role, I think you're right. Ke Huy Quan is going to win that. He's Hollywood's darling right now.
Right.
And then could you imagine the Encino Man connection of Brendan Fraser and Quan win it? Like, my God, all we need is Pauly Shore to come in and give these guys a hug. For actress, I think you're right. Michelle Yeoh is gonna probably take that. She did a phenomenal job in it. I tried watching Tar because I do like Kate Blanchett and the things that she does. Right. I did not finish Tar. It seemed like it was a little bit too pretentious and out of my area of expertise.
I was going to ask you about that because you mentioned that you saw it, and I know it's got some hardcore fans, but I know it's also got people that have said what you said. It's a little too pretentious for them.
Yes, and the closest one to Michelle Yeoh would probably be Michelle Williams, but Everything Everywhere at Once and her performance is heads and shoulders above anybody else who did that on that list. Best Supporting Actress, I think they will give it to Jamie Lee Curtis. I hope. But I wouldn't mind it if they went with Angela Bassett. Like, I think I came out of Black Panther, which has been my favorite MCU movie up to this point in this new phase. I came out of that and I was like, I think I told you, it was like Angela Bassett deserves an Oscar for her performance in this. Like, her performance in that was incredible. So as much as I would like to see Jamie Lee Curtis because of the horror stuff and all the years that she's been doing it, I think Angela Bassett has been doing it just as long. And I feel like she's finally getting some credit for the work that she's done. And I think if they gave it to Angela Bassett, I wouldn't be mad with that at all.
Right. No. Yeah, I think those are solid picks.
And then for directing, I think the Daniels should get it. But for some reason, I feel like they're going to end up giving it to Martin McDonagh with The Banshees of Inisherin. For some reason, I don't know why.
I wouldn't be shocked by that. They like him. His past few movies have always snuck in some kind of award, but whether it's best supporting, best writing, whatever it is, he'll get something.
Yeah, and I think that they might squeeze that one in. And international, and I know I'm gonna go with that one just because I watch a lot of I don't watch a lot of them, but I always am piqued by international films. I think Quiet on the Western Front's gonna win, which is again a remake of the original movie, but I think it's gonna pull it off.
I think that's gonna pull it off. Best song. What do you think of best song? I think that's another big one. That's another big one.
Are you looking at original song or original score?
Best original song.
So, real quick, you have Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, done by Diane Warren. Hold My Hand from Top Gun, Lady Gaga and Blood Pop. Lift Me Up from Black Panther. That is Rihanna.
Yes.
Not Two by RRR. I know you've seen that movie.
A lot of fun. Really good movie.
This is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know. I think Top Gun might take that one. Hold My Hand.
I think Top Gun's gonna take it. And I think they're gonna take it because, again, I think people forget. It's not what the popular consensus is. Of course, it is these critic ceremonies. Of course, they matter. But with the Oscars, it's the Academy is everybody in the industry that's voting. And I feel like Hold My Hand and Lady Gaga, that's more something that might get the win, if anything.
Right.
But, I agree. I think it's going to be Hold My Hand that pulls out the win.
Yes.
I don't know, man. What else do we want to cover? I guess we went to the hour mark, and this was just a stream for us to get started and get going.
For right now, I think I'm good. I mean, I don't have anything much to say. Besides, watch the Oscars. I know a lot of people are avoiding them, and people that were mad at Mia Goth wasn't nominated for her performances in X or Pearl.
I don't think that was ever going to happen. I don't understand why there was a push for that. That was just never going to happen. But, I mean, she's great in those movies. Pearl's one of my favorite movies of the year, but that was never going to be a case of her getting it at all.
Right. No, I know. It's just as horror fans, I think that they expect our horror movies to do better, but I think that horror sometimes is such a niche genre that not everybody watches horror as much as some of us do.
Here's another thing. Let's break it down politically. Let's break it down like this. When it comes to Oscars, and there's a marketing push in a campaign, right?
Right.
These studios take money and they go, okay, we're going to put a bunch of money into pushing this movie for your consideration, and we're going to screen it everywhere. We're going to screen it at all these guilds. We're going to put it back in theaters. We're going to do the press tour, all that stuff. What studio made Everything Everywhere All at Once and made Pearl? A24. A24 was not going to push another actress when they already have somebody that they've been pushing hard in Michelle Yeoh, and a movie they've been pushing ridiculously hard. So if horror fans want to blame anybody, you want to blame A24, not the Oscar voters for not, seeing a movie that probably wasn't given to them. They probably didn't even get a for your consideration screener for Pearl, which again she's great in. I think that was unrealistic to ask Oscar horror fans to expect Oscar voters to even consider a movie like that. Which again, that movie's great. It just was never going to happen. Okay, now that y'all are back, we're getting Gabe back on the show. You back on Not That Bad?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
We want to get Not That Bad on here. I want to get Not That Bad on a stream of the Flopbuster movie show. Kind of like how we did now, just casually talking about
just everything and everything everywhere all at once. Just talk about all.
Everything everywhere all at once. That would be great to have them on. We could come up with a topic, something. We'll get something in the works.
I'll make other Gabe watch Transformers: Age of Extinction. How about that? He doesn't seem like he would watch Transformers. He doesn't strike me as a Transformers type of individual.
Right. We'll have a segment called The Two Gabes, and it's you making other Gabe watch your shitty movies, watching all the movies that you
And I watched so many shitty movies. Like, I feel like I watched more shitty movies than I watched, like, fucking, Academy Darling movies.
And this is Victoria's dad. Hey, Chris. It is good to be back. We're excited to do a little test run here. But that's all I got, man. I thought this episode was great. I think it's cool that we just were able to talk about all these things and catch up on all the stuff we've seen lately. And then I guess next week we'll come up with something. I want to come up with something exciting. We'll come up with something exciting. Let's get some people on the show.
How about this?
We'll get this going.
I have an extra movie poster for Scream 6. We'll do a trivia question. Whoever answers that trivia question on our next episode, I know them out. Wins the poster. Wins the Scream 6 poster.
That sounds fair. So yeah, guys, stay tuned, guys. I will update on the Facebook page, the Twitter page. We'll come up with something. This is just us getting back in here. Connor says, please make Gabe watch shitty movies. Maybe we can. It's possible. We'll come up with something. We'll collaborate with you guys. And we want to get this back on track. Get Flopbuster back to where it needs to be. Stay tuned. Gabe sees all the new releases. I post his reactions on the shorts. Instantly out the theater, he gets those out there. I'll get back to posting content. And
as soon as you're done moving.
Back on the road, man.
Yeah, and then hopefully we could also get Victoria back on as well as our third to get into some witty banter with all of us.
Maybe we'll get her back. I'll see if she wants to come out of retirement to do the show. But for sure, we're getting not that bad on here, and then we'll see what other guests we can rope out. Let's get people on the main show. I think that's something new that we'll do. Is the main show? We'll get some guests on there.
I'm working on this rapper guy that I'm trying to see if I could get him on.
Who's the rapper?
His name is Shine.
It Young Gravy?
No, it's Shine.
You live streaming the Oscars. We are not. Gabe wanted to live stream. We'll get Sky Selenite on the show.
Let's get him. He's mad at me. He's mad at me because he says I didn't offer him a cigar that I got in the Dominican Republic. And it wasn't like that. I don't know who smokes cigars, right? So I'm going around like, hey, you smoke cigars? You smoke cigars? You smoke cigars? And he went off at this party, right? And I'm going to tell you right now how I went. I'm going to give you a little story. He gets to this family party, right? And he goes off into a corner, him and his brothers. And it's like he's in the corner. He put himself in the corner. I've been walking around everybody and asking, hey, do you want to smoke a cigar? You want to smoke a cigar? People are like, yeah or no. And then finally it was getting towards the end of the night. And I was like, all right, guys, let's go smoke a cigar. And he's not in this corner anymore. He's by us. He's like, well, can I get one? I'm like, oh, I didn't know you smoke cigars. Well, I do. I was like, well, then here you go. And I gave him a cigar. It wasn't like I was purposefully leaving him out from smoking cigars. It was honestly, he went into a corner and that was it. Like he got into
it was like the cool kid corner. Like
I don't know if it was a cool kid corner. It was more like the safe space corner. You know, when you have like the corner of like autistic kids, it's like that was that corner. And I love Sky Selenite. All right, so don't get me wrong. I'm just making a funny story about him. He's not autistic.
He's got a bone to pick with you about this.
But he has a bone to pick with me because.
We gotta get Sky Selenite on to talk about this cigar situation because he's pretty upset about it. And he wants
so then we go outside, and we and we smoke a cigar. There's like 6 of us. We're smoking a cigar that I brought back from the Dominican cigars.
That's sweet. At least it has a nice ending. We'll bring him on and we'll discuss this. And Sky Selenite, he's mad about the cigar situation, man. We'll get this sorted out.
Listen, there's hold on. I'm going to close it out with this, right? There's a difference between, because I smoke cigarettes, right? But there's a difference between smoking a cigar and smoking a cigarette. Smoking a cigar is more, I don't know, classy, and you have a little glass of wine, or whiskey. And then you're smoking a cigar. Cigarettes just trashy. You smoke a cigarette, you're trashy. What
white
can
trash?
I say?
Hang out by like the White Hen Pantry or something.
Right, you're smoking outside the White Hen. We're smoking smoking a Newport or Marlboro, and like just smoking it by the dumpster. That's me. I'm a trashy man. That's why I like trashy movies. That's why all that, right? I smoke cigarettes. I'm a trashy person. When I smoke a cigar, though, I feel like a little bit elevated. But anyways, that's why smoking cigars and cigarettes is different. So some people don't smoke cigarettes, but they'll occasionally imbibe in a cigar.
Right.
But
all about class, man. It's all about class.
It's all about class.
It's about etiquette. That's what Sky said all night. Saying it's all about etiquette. Okay, so great stream, guys. Thank you, Connor.
Thank you, guys. Again, thank you everybody who joined this stream. Great that you guys have stuck with us even during our little hiatus, but we are going to be back better than ever here for you guys. So appreciate it.
And that was it. We'll see you guys next time. Let's talk about something horror related. We haven't talked about horror movies in a while. Maybe we'll figure out something like that. That'd be fun. Maybe that'll be cool. I don't know. We'll take a break from talking about superhero movies and stuff like that. But make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Please hit the like button. Hit that like button. And we will update you on what content is coming. And we're going to be more consistent with this. We're going to get a show coming out this week and then the weeks to follow. So
absolutely,
we will see you guys. Thank you for joining us. And y'all have a great night.
Have a good night.